Hello, Nimita ma'am. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Try to Thrive. How are you?
I am good, Rajni. Thank you so much for inviting me. I always enjoy my conversations with you.
Same here, likewise. And recently, I have achieved 50,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So I must say, in last week, I got around 9,000 subscribers. So this is for me, it is an achievement. So there are a lot of new learners I got, and a lot of emails I'm getting nowadays. People want to learn this language, and that shows that people are ready to learn now, master this language, and they want partners with them where they can practice an environment. So before we proceed with further discussion, first I would like you to give your introduction. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rajni. Congratulations. 50,000 is a big feat. And I'm
Thank you
really
so
excited
much.
to introduce myself to your new viewers. Hi, everyone. I'm Namita. I am co-founder and chief learning officer at Sparky AI. We will talk more about Sparky later. I have been in education for the last 15 years. I've taught in India, I've taught in the US. And so far in my journey of 15 years, I have interacted with over 5 million learners and especially imparted English language learning. So that's something that is I'm extremely passionate about. That's something that I know really deeply, and I know that English has a very strong has a very strong benefit with respect to the kind of colleges that you opt for or the kind of jobs that you get in the future. So, and happy to, I'm really excited to discuss today's topic with Rajni.
Fantastic. And that's what India needs, people like you who are expert in this, because nowadays English is like everything. Without English, even housewives cannot survive because they have to, attend the meetings and deal with the study material of their kids. So everybody needs that language, and people like you who are there to help. And even they, after observing people and their needs and their struggles, you focus on the features that you are going to describe now about Sparky. So yes,
Yeah.
that would be really helpful, and that is why I wanted to have this session with you again. And major topic that I wanted to discuss with you today is majorly what I receive in my emails and comments, that we consume your content, we watch your videos every day, and even others YouTubers too, and we are able to understand everything fully, whatever you are saying, whatever others are saying. Even sometimes they watch even native speakers too, and they are very good at understanding and listening to people, but when it comes to speaking, they feel stuck. They are not able to speak properly, not able to use
Yeah.
proper advanced words and the proper sentence structure. So I want you to just throw some light on this topic.
Sure. I think, Rajni, who you have defined are average English language learners in India.
Mm.
Because the way our education system is, like from school to college, there is a lot of focus on passive consumption. So when I say passive consumption, teacher is talking, you are listening, you are reading book. So a lot of focus is on reading comprehension, listening comprehension, and very less focus on speaking. Because
Yeah.
speaking is an active skill, it's not a
Mm.
passive skill. So passively, we have consumed a lot of vocabulary.
Mhm.
However, speaking requires active connections in your brain to string together all of that knowledge. So,
Mhm.
you need to send that signal to your brain to actually create a sentence, which is coherent, which is grammatically correct. So there's so many nuances that you have to keep in
Yeah.
mind when you're reproducing that language. Um, so and you will notice that same difference, like if you are whatever is your mother tongue, like my mother tongue is Hindi. So when I'm
Mm.
talking in Hindi, I remember when I was not very fluent in English, I would speak Faratedar Hindi, but the
Mm.
same thing for me to speak in English used to be a struggle because I had to first think, collect the words, string them together, then do a
Mhm.
check in my mind that am I speaking it grammatically correct? And but by then the moment is gone
Mm.
because so it's the primary reason is because of the passive consumption of knowledge. So we have understanding, however not enough active environment of practice,
Mm.
and which is the primary gap because of which many of these learners are unable to produce that language while they know so much. And I can understand it's very frustrating when you know
Mm.
something but you are unable to communicate it very well
Mhm.
because of a language barrier.
Yeah. I totally agree with you
Yeah,
because when I was in college, I had the habit of listening to people a lot because I was in JNU. So there people speak English. I was able to understand,
right.
but wasn't able to speak at all. And that time I didn't get about any different platform where I can practice and can get the feedback. So I can totally understand like when you are able to understand but not speak, then it is frustrating and challenging. Yeah.
Right, right. And I think because of that, because we know that schools and colleges, they have their limitations because, the population of India is vast. So,
Mm.
so that is a fact. Now, we can have a discussion that how do we reduce population, but that's not in our control. What is in our
Mm.
control is what can we do about it.
Yes.
So, what can we do about is that's why there are so many supplementary, people go for tuition classes, but going to tuition
Mm.
classes, especially for adults, is not possible. Their life is already so busy and packed.
Mm.
And hence, in the last decade and a half, like 15, 20 years, there's a lot of
Mm.
applications that have come. Like our mobile phone is now, it's all applications, applications, applications,
Mm.
because everybody wants everything at a click of a button.
Yeah.
So I think from that perspective is where we thought of Sparky AI as well,
Mm.
because we understand. Because I have been working with learners for such a long time, and I understand that how much time do they have in an institute and how much time do they have at home. Having
Mm.
worked in corporate environment, I understand how much time does a young professional has in office and how much do they have at home. So
Mm.
I remember whenever I was doing online courses, I would do them on my way, commute time.
Mhm.
I would put my earphones on and do my courses. So
Mhm.
that's what we thought about with Sparky AI as well, that, and not everybody has time to go to a tutor. And at the same time, active practice is one of the most important needs of our learners these days. That speaking is very, very important because there's enough material that is out there to build vocabulary, to build
Mhm.
reading,
Yeah.
to build listening, but not
Mhm.
enough to speak. So, hence, Sparky is that buddy for you. So, it is not just any buddy, but it is a knowledgeable, intelligent buddy who will not judge you, who will
Mm.
guide you, who will mentor you, who would correct you, who would give you feedback, who will also support you if you are stuck, who will also support if you don't know a word. Like, okay, let me tell you the meaning of it. Let me translate it for you. If you
Mhm.
don't want to talk about this, let's skip forward and do something else. So it's giving you a lot of control. At the same time, it is ensuring that you are getting the right, correct English exposure that you need.
Mhm.
So whether you spend 10 minutes or you spend 30 minutes, you are completely immersed in an English environment, very active
Mhm.
learning English environment.
Mhm.
I think more than me speaking about it, I would love to show a demo of Sparky, that how it works.
Sure. Yeah.
Great.
So here we can say that this Sparky provides that environment, which is the biggest issue people face nowadays because English is becoming really popular and it is not just a language, it is kind of a skill at the same time, it shows your status. It is related to that, right?
Yes.
So if you speak
Yes.
broken English, you have the fear. If you have, don't have that much command over the language, you have fear that, okay, I speak broken English and that is why I cannot speak in front of real people. So here, buddy,
Hmm.
that Sparky buddy can definitely help you, and you can speak here without any, hindrance and without any fear. That will help you. At the same time, I want to highlight here that I have talked to more than 800 people, like around more than 800 people. But say now I cannot interact with everybody again because my
Right.
community is growing. So every single day I'm getting a lot of emails. So I can connect only once, or they can practice with
Right.
me only once. Right. So that is
Right.
not that, okay, they have created the environment. No. Or maybe if they get this chance to connect, maybe few times they will get people, and at the same time if they are working professionals, their time with others clash, they will not be able to manage
Right.
their time. But if they have the buddy in their mobile itself, whenever they have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes before going to bed or in the morning itself, they can practice anytime 24 into 7, right? That is the best part. And you cannot get people again and again to practice. At the same time, as you
Right.
mentioned, that the right constructive feedback is also required. If you are targeting something like you want to crack some interview or you want to become very good at business English, right? So there you need
Hmm.
advanced structure of the language, and only a very informative buddy can provide that. Not everyone who is just practicing there, right? So that
Completely
is the
agree with
best
you.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, right. Completely agree with you on that, Rajni. I think Sparky AI is that native English speaking buddy that you can have, and
Mm-hmm.
that buddy is accessible to you. It's unlimited. You can
Mm-hmm.
talk about anything that you want. Because, see, a lot of times our conversations are. When do we do when do we speak mostly? We speak mostly like the way you and I are communicating right now, or when we are in an office environment. It's not always in a business meeting, but it is ability to have those conversations with your team members, with your colleagues on different
Mm-hmm.
topics, different interests, and to be able to hold that conversation, to be able to generate interest in that conversation. So what that
Mm-hmm.
means is that the kind of vocabulary that you use, the kind of phrases that you use, the kind of,
Mm-hmm.
how you generate interest through that language, that people want to engage with you more in it,
Mm-hmm.
is very important. And I think that can only happen in a conversational environment. It
Mm-hmm.
cannot happen just passively listening to something and
Mm-hmm.
then thinking that, oh, I can now have this conversation, because our real life conversations are not scripted. So
Mm-hmm.
they need practice,
Absolutely.
and hence vocabulary building. Grammar, I would say, is important, but it's I would say step four
Mm-hmm.
when you're thinking about language learning. First step is, of course, your practice, absolute practice, diligent practice, following it with a discipline practice.
Mm-hmm.
The second is, of course, as receiving feedback on how you're speaking, what you're speaking. So
Mm-hmm.
receiving feedback is important, but you don't necessarily need to worry about it, like worry
Mm-hmm.
about making mistakes. And the third is, how you can use this feedback to build your vocabulary, improve your
Mm-hmm.
vocabulary. And last bit is when you start worrying about grammar. I would say grammar is something that people should just like keep aside. Just focus
Mm-hmm.
on speaking and building your vocabulary when you are
Mm-hmm.
speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I also interact with a lot of learners who say that, oh, I know so many words in English.
Mm-hmm.
But that's great that you know so many words in English, but if you're unable to use them to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
then they're just your knowledge, they're just in your mind. You are unable to apply them. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Indian learners, because of the size of the classrooms and because of just the sheer population, what happens is that not enough opportunities are provided in application, and that's across the board, across different subjects. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just English. So practice requires extra additional effort, that you need to find uh, avenues or places beyond your
Mm-hmm.
classrooms or beyond your
Absolutely.
surroundings. So you need to find
Mm-hmm.
more spaces. Like mobile phone is now for adults, that has become one place
Yeah,
to explore.
absolutely. Absolutely. I had a session yesterday only with somebody, and she was talking about the courses she did. So she shared
Hmm.
that she used to go to the class for 2 hours, right? But in 2 hours, she got only like there were students with her, but she got only chance to speak twice, maybe two times,
Hmm.
like with one or two friends
Hmm.
only, not more than that. Or maybe if she gets a chance to go in front of everybody and then speak maybe once, so maybe 10 minutes she is speaking there. So she said that's not enough. If I want to become really an advanced speaker, that's not enough for me, like, and we cannot say okay, I have people around me and I can practice there, and speaking for 10 minutes in a day is not going to make huge change if I want to become very proficient in English, and then I have to crack an interview or go for the job or interact on daily basis. So then I thought about this and then I shared about it, like, okay, there is this application where you can practice any time for like whatever the time you have, 30 minutes, 2 hours. And if somebody is actually targeting to become proficient in English, they should make a proper time schedule and they should squeeze out free time. Like we have the habit of scrolling over Instagram, YouTube. So just stop from there and they should start. And at the same time, people make excuses that we don't have environment. Now we are here. We have created this. So just go and grab this opportunity and practice there. You cannot make any more this excuse that, okay, I don't have environment. At the same time, it is just not about environment. From the day one, you will get the feedback. Right. So even if you
Right.
have the, in your mind that, okay, I'm not very good at grammar, so you will get the feedback instantly right then. So you can
Right.
just practice right then, right? One more thing you mentioned, which is nuances of the language. I totally agree with it because I have a student from, mostly I have seen people who come from southern part of India. They have problem with second forms of the verb, like they emphasize more on ed, something like that, right? When they pronounce practice, practiced, something like that, play,
Hmm.
played, 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 some, they have that kind of issue. Okay, so I suggested to my student to just use Sparky and repeat those pronunciations again and again. That will help you. And
Right.
this is always, I think, become a little embarrassing when you are talking to a person and the person tells you again and again, okay, this you have mispronounced, again you have mispronounced, in every session. It seems like, like I also feel like if I, stop people again and again and tell them, okay, this is, but it is very conspicuous when you are speaking. So if you also
Right.
don't want to feel that embarrassed, then you should go for the Sparky and you should practice there. Yeah, and nuances
Yes,
really
I
matters a lot.
I agree with you. It matters a lot, and I think what you mentioned, one of the best ways is by listening the correct.
Mm,
Like a lot of times, learners ask me that how do I pronounce this word, or how will I improve my pronunciation?
mm,
And I say that one of the best ways to improve pronunciation is to first listen and repeat. Like imitation is one of the
mm,
best ways of improving pronunciation.
mm,
And when you were talking about speaking, I was also imagining that during in exam patterns, most of our exam patterns are in written form. Very
mm.
few exam patterns are in speaking form, because, and I remember whenever we used to have viva, the terror of viva was higher than a written exam. Because written
Absolutely.
exam is again in isolation, you can think and you
Mm,
can write, but speaking is like instantaneous, that they will ask me something and I need to immediately make all these connections and respond.
mm.
But what I remember is we were never trained on
Yeah.
how to do that. And
Mm,
hence the fear for writing exams was less.
mm,
But in speaking exams, like we used to have when we were young, recitation, poem recitations, or any, speak on a certain topic or storytelling.
mm,
In all of those, I remember we were not trained enough. It was just a topic was given to us and we had to go and speak
mm,
one day, and the fear of that was greater. So I think what I wanted to get at is the psychology of most of our language learners. Because Rajni, you will be surprised, almost 100% of Indians learn English language, irrespective of the
yeah.
medium of the school that they go to.
Yeah.
Despite that, only 6 to 7% of them are fluent in English. Is extremely is a very 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 sad statistic, that why
Mm,
such less number of people are able to speak fluently in English. Majority of India going to an English, like exposed to English language, and despite that they are unable to speak in English, is really sad. And
mm,
given the kind of opportunities that are out there and the kind of opportunities that Indians are grabbing,
mm.
English is going to become, I think, more and more important, because our higher
Yeah.
education, research papers, writing, everything is in English.
Yeah.
So I would say that get that environment, get that, like, think everybody should just think about English as that vitamin that I
Mm,
must take every day.
yes.
And it's not something which comes with an expiry date. It's a vitamin that I need to take till the time I
Mm,
feel that I don't need this vitamin anymore.
mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now people should not make these excuses, not have environment, not have a buddy, and then don't, I'm not very consistent with it. Because see, when you are connecting to people, you have to wait and maybe you break the consistency again. Because you will not get
Right,
somebody to talk to that person every single day. And this
right,
app can
right.
help you become very consistent too with the practice. This is again major issue I get. People say I will do it for 7 days, or whenever I get somebody to practice with me, only then. So consistency, environment, buddy, feedback, a lot of features are there that you can leverage now. And you can master this language as early as possible. It is up to
Absolutely.
you, like how many hours you are using it. Yeah, and the
Absolutely.
most essential part, we cannot forget that that is affordable. So
Absolutely. I was just going to come to that.
yeah, so just a lot of people are new here, so just describe about that too, so they can just grab that.
Sure, sure. So Rajni, our plans are extremely affordable, and because we were imagining a student, it could be a student or a young professional who is, and who may want to use Sparky. So our 3 month programs are anywhere are around 599. So that's
Amazing.
like around 200 a month, and
Mm.
if you go for 6 month program, that's around 699. That's like a little over 100 rupees per month, and you get
Mm.
unlimited access. I don't think so there's any tutor, any coaching centers, or any classes that are out there that can offer you a one-on-one tutoring at such a cheap rate, where you're also getting feedback live as you're
Mm.
speaking.
At the same time, not just feedback, like even ideas, you will start generating
Right.
ideas. That is also a problem. Like when I give instant topics to people, even I also face a lot of time, like somebody gives, like I do the writing practice nowadays with a couple of people. So when, because we immediately in the session itself, somebody suggests the topic and we start writing spontaneously. Sometimes I just sit there and think about the ideas and what I can write and all. So this, here you can even enhance your knowledge too on separate topics. Whenever you
Right.
come across different topics, you can just talk about, you can just ask first, what should I discuss in that, what are the words I can use in this topic. So this is a great help. It is not just about English, it is about your knowledge too, it is about your critical thinking too. You will start thinking after that, after, when we get a little hint, even we start thinking about that. So you will get even a lot of knowledge in it. That I
I
appreciate.
agree. That's true. And like there are so many variety of topics that are there which are relatable. So it is going to
Mm.
really nudge you to use your language, like things that you know, your vocabulary, and
Mm-hmm.
encourage you to use it, because it's not going to, keep giving you suggestions, or, use say this or say that, or of
Mm.
course there are some suggestions that are built in, but at the same time, it's going to really push you and nudge you to use the language that you know, produce your own
Mm.
language. And it's okay to make mistakes, is what, end of the day, I would like to say that it's
Mm.
absolutely okay to make mistakes. There's no harm in making mistakes, because that's the one of the best ways of learning. So,
Mm.
and like I just shared the price points, it's extremely affordable. And if you spend, like, one promise that I can make to all your viewers is that if you spend uh, uh, 3 months on the app, and you spend, say, in a week, close to 1.5 to 2 hours, you can spread that time out. So every week, spend 1.5 to 2 hours on the app, but do spread it out. Don't do it all in one session. Spread it
Mm.
out. And in 3 months' time, I can guarantee you that you will notice a change in your vocabulary, at least 100. I can say
Yeah.
at least 100% improvement in your vocabulary. You'll notice at least 15 to 20% less grammar mistakes that you are making.
Mm.
These are the two promises that I can definitely make. If you just use this app for 3 months,
Mm.
1.5 to 2 hours every week. And
Mm.
why I'm able to make this promise is because our learners are currently able to do that.
Wow.
We are noticing, with some of our learners, we have noticed 200 to 500% increase in their vocabulary.
Wow. It means
Like
it
they
it has
initially,
the potential to change that mindset. Okay, we cannot learn the language in 6 months. Now here, if you do it consistently,
absolutely.
you can. Mm.
Absolutely. And the best part, Rajni, about generative AI, because that's what is
Hmm.
Sparky. It's a generative AI. It's powered by generative AI. So what it does is, say, for example, today we spoke about a topic where we are discussing, say, sports.
Hmm.
Now, tomorrow you come back and again you want to talk about sports. The
Hmm.
best part about generative AI, it will start, and even if it's the same conversation, it
Mm-hmm.
will it will ask you very different questions. It will change the direction, so the conversation suddenly feels very new. So, like
Mm.
आप अपने किसी friend से बात कर रहे हो कि और बताओ आज का क्या दिन है, कैसा रहा, and your friend will give you a new piece of information, and the conversation
Mm.
that goes in that direction, while the question or the intent is still the same, but the flow of the conversation just changes. And that's exactly what Sparky does. It's like that buddy who will, you can have the same theme based conversation again and again, and the content of
Mm.
it is going to be completely different. And that is the power of generative AI. It adapts to your age, it adapts to your country, it adapts to your city, it adapts to your how you want to take the conversation forward. So you feel you're in control, while Sparky is smart enough to know that, okay, what kind of help, what kind of support, what kind of complexity should I include in this conversation?
Wow, that's interesting because I also face that issue. Sometimes I end up answering
Mhm.
the same kind of asking same kind of questions because I conduct a lot of sessions. I'll talk to a lot of people and then I give same kind of answers too a lot of times. And this is something interesting you introduced today. That you can get even different answers to the same questions or maybe different questions on the
Exactly.
same topic, which is interesting. Hmm.
Right, right. So that's the power of generative AI. It's like you're that buddy who will always be excited to beat
And
you.
I think human brain has now don't have that, I think, that much potential because of the first, that is attention span, I guess, and second is retention ability. Because of
Right.
technology, because of that, we are just mindlessly scrolling over here and there. So maybe we lost that retention ability that much, and then critical thinking to think out of the box and different answers. So that's really interesting.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So I'll invite everyone to try Sparky and have conversations. So hence
Mm-hmm.
your conversations can never run out. So even if you're done with, let's say, I have learners who tell me, oh, I have done so many conversations with Sparky.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, just go back and do the same couple of same conversations. And they feel like, oh, wow, it's a new conversation altogether.
Wow,
Because
interesting.
English practice can happen on any topic, anything.
It's
Basically, it
too
needs to be of
vast.
interest. It's too vast and it
Too
needs to be
vast,
of
yeah.
interest to you.
Mm. Yes, sometimes even
So,
on a very small topic, you get a very different perspective. It is, I have
right.
realized when after starting the writing practice with a couple of people, like on the same topic, we are writing eight people all together, and different sentence structure, different information we are, trying to bring. So if I like, we have limits, like human brain has the limits, right? But AI can give you entirely out of the box. So which is really interesting. I would highly
Right.
recommend everyone who are new, and I believe if I have achieved in just 1 week 7 to 9,000 subscribers, maybe they are really serious about it to learn. So just go and just download Sparky. You will get the link in the description box itself, and leverage it and use it properly and become very good at English. If you have the wish to become in 3 months or 6 months, you can crack that now.
Yes, absolutely. Look forward to seeing your viewers on Sparky AI
Yeah,
and
sure.
really excited to hear their feedback. What
Hmm.
more can we do for
So
them?
thank you so much, Nimita ma'am, for bringing it and for doing this great work for people who are aspiring to become very proficient at English. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Rachni.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Take
Have a
care.
great day. Yeah, you
Bye.
too.
You too. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.